Hi, boys and girls. How are you today? I hope you're having a great Sunday, and I hope you had a good week last week. Um, we are going to have a story today, and it's called In the Tall, Tall Grass. It's one of my favorites. I like to share my favorites with you, and it's a great book for this time of year because I don't know if any of you might have some caterpillars at your house. I know at school we always got caterpillars and watched them and waited for them to turn into the beautiful butterflies. But this is the time of year that happens, and so before caterpillars get ready to do that, they have to really eat a whole lot and get really fat and fluffy so that they'll have enough energy to do what they need to do to become a caterpillar. So, what I want you to do this morning, I want you to pretend and imagine what if you were this little guy right here? What if you were this little caterpillar on the front of the book and you were crawling through the grass? What would you see and what would you hear? Would you hear anything? I don't know. Let's see. We're going to follow this little guy through the book, and he's going to take us on a tour through the tall, tall grass, and we're going to see what he sees. So let's imagine that we're this little fella right here. This is In the Tall, Tall Grass, and the author is Denise Fleming. I'm going to kind of scooch out of the picture so I can make sure that you guys can see the pages. In the Tall, Tall Grass. And there's our pretty title page. And this book, Denise Fleming wrote this book for her mother and father with love. So she dedicated this book to her mom and dad. And here we go. There's our little tour guide right there. There he is. We're following him in the tall, tall grass. Crunch, munch, caterpillar's lunch. Dart, dip, hummingbirds sip. And there the little hummingbirds sticking their protuberance down into this. That's their long little beak. They're sticking it down to the flowers like a straw, and they're slurping up that yummy flower Kool-Aid, that nectar. Strum, drum, bees hum. There's our little guy. We're still following him. Crack, snap, wings flap. Ooh, those look like those might be some berries. And maybe this bird is diving down to get some berries off of that bush in the grass. And the caterpillar saying, "Oh no, don't get me." Pull, tug, ants lug. Oh, that little tiny ant is pulling that leaf. He's trying to take it somewhere. He's going to probably use it in his house. They'll probably take it and he'll share it with the other ants. And he's dragging that leaf up his anthill. Slip, slide, snakes glide. There's our little garter snakes in the grass. But if you ever see a little snake in the grass, don't pick it up because you're not quite sure. You can't be quite sure whether it's a good snake or a bad snake. Some snakes are good and some snakes are bad. And we don't want you to accidentally pick up a bad snake. So just be safe and just don't pick up a snake at all. Unless you're with a grown-up that knows what they're doing. Rich Ratch Mole's Scratch. Oh, and there's, how many moles are there? There's 1, 2, 3 little moles. And you can't see their eyes because moles can't see. They can't see anything. All they do, they've got these really sharp little claws and they scratch, scratch, scratch and dig tunnels up under the ground and make holes all in the yard. Skitter scurry beetles hurry. Wonder where all those beetles are going. I don't know. Let's see how many beetles we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a lot of beetles traveling together. Maybe they're moving from one house to another. Maybe they've decided to live somewhere else. There's our friend. He's waiting for us to come on. Zip, zap, tongues snap. We know what these are. These are toads. Yes, and they are using those long tongues to reach out and grab these little bugs for lunch. Hip hop ears flop. There are 3 cute little bunnies hopping through the tall, tall grass. Stop, go. Fireflies glow. They're the fireflies. You know, fireflies light up at night. When we were growing up, we called them lightning bugs. And we used to catch them in a jar and take them in the closet and shut the door. And it was like our very own nightlight. Lunge, loop, bats swoop. Ooh, bats. Bats are animals that wake up at nighttime. Do you remember we talked about that in a book before? What are the animals called when they wake up at nighttime and they like to be awake at night and hunt for their food at night and they sleep during the daytime? Does anyone remember that? I bet you do. It starts with an N, the letter N. Nocturnal. I know somebody said it. Nocturnal. That's right. Bats are nocturnal. Oh, and then finally, the stars bright. Moonlight. So it's nighttime finally, and there's our little friend in the grass. Maybe it's time for him to find his little bed for the night and go to sleep. There's all the pretty stars, and there's the moon shining brightly on the tall, tall grass. And then he finally says, "Good night, tall, tall grass." So that's the book, The Tall, Tall Grass by Denise Fleming. And I hope you liked it. I like it. I think the pictures are really pretty. And I like to imagine if I were that caterpillar crawling through the grass, what I would see and what I would hear. I hope you guys have a good week this week. And I'm going to end with some really good news. I know I promised you we were going to have a book fair after Christmas and before we got out for the end of the school year, and we are definitely going to have a book fair. But just like we're having to do everything on our computer, on our iPads, we're going to have the book fair on the iPad too. So be sure and tell your moms and dads to be checking their email this week, and you guys be checking Facebook, because the book fair is going to start this coming Friday on May the 1st. And I'll send all the information you guys need to get on there and shop and maybe find some really good books for you to read. So tell your moms and dads to be looking for that information. And I hope you have a great week, and I miss you very, very much. And I hope that we're together again soon. I love y'all. Bye.